Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from the Kinder Institute. I'm going to be showing you today how to use Zoom to help with the facilitation of Golden Civilization conversations by taking to a platform that we are all getting much more familiar with due to the coronavirus and all of the time that we've been spending staying at home. Please bear with me as we kind of go through the different features, the different ways that these features can help you with the facilitation of Golden Civilization conversations. And my colleague Laura will be joining me once I start the video to help with illustrating some more of the formatting options. Thanks. To first start by visiting in our browser the Zoom website, which is zoom.us. And you're going to be greeted with, this welcome page. There's the opportunity at the top to either join a meeting, host a meeting, sign in or sign up. And for kind of like our options here, if you already have an account, of course, go to the sign in. But I want to talk quickly a little bit about if you don't already have an account with Zoom. So there are a few differences between the plans when it comes to Zoom accounts. There is this first basic meeting, which is free. Basically, you just have to input your email, create a password, and it allows you to host conversations between you and one other participant on an unlimited basis. However, as soon as you add a third person to that meeting, you are going to be limited to 40 minutes for the meeting. So in terms of Golden Civilization conversations, this is a great plan for any of the participants that are going to be invited to your conversation. However, we recommend that to host a conversation, you upgrade to this pro account, just because we generally estimate that the conversations take about an hour and a half to host, and you don't want everyone to get kicked out. So we would recommend that you upgrade to this pro if you're going to be hosting the meeting. All right, so we're going to go back to the main page here, and we're going to sign in because we already have a meeting, or we already have an account. So we're just going to sign in. And you have a few options on the side, which shows kind of your the settings that you have available in your dashboard. So if you go to the meetings, you're going to be greeted with this page here, which lists all of the meetings that we have that are scheduled, which is going to be coming in handy later on when we try to start a meeting that we already have scheduled. But we're going to start by scheduling a new meeting. It's going to take you to this page here, where you have the ability to create some settings. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be creating a meeting where Laura and I will basically will be joining a call to go over more of the details and illustrate all of the options that you have within the meeting in terms of hosting. So I'm just going to create a meeting for the two of us. It's going to be called Zoom Help. I'm going to be hosting it at 11 o'clock. I'm just going to leave the duration for an hour. You have the ability to change the time zone, and you also have the ability to make it a recurring meeting. So if you are planning on hosting several Golden Civilization conversations with the same group, this might be a good way to hold yourself accountable by creating a recurring meeting right away, maybe on a monthly basis. And if there's a certain day of the week that works best for everyone, this is a Friday, so we'll just say that, going until the end of the year, this might be a good option. We're not going to make this meeting a recurring meeting though. We're not going to require registration because this will probably be pretty informal, definitely for our meeting purposes as well. And in terms of meeting ID and password, I think in this instance it's best to be simple, especially because you never know the amount of knowledge that someone is going to be coming to the table with. So if you have a personal meeting ID as the meeting ID, I feel like it's easier for people to find. It's easier for you to find. If it's a scramble at the last minute trying to figure it out. And also I think it's not necessarily required to have a meeting password. And it makes it easier for people joining as well if they don't have to go back to an email and find random letters and numbers to input when they go to join. In terms of video and audio settings, I think it's also important to have the host and participant videos on to start. I think that this can help with the smoothness when the meeting starts, because you want any participant who is having trouble with their video to realize that kind of right away, so even if it's the best if they're in the waiting room and figuring out those kinds of things. That way it makes for like a smoother transition when you get everyone out of the waiting room. And also audio settings, I think it's best to give people the option to either dial in by telephone or use their computer audio. That way, they can choose the option that best fits their internet capabilities. And then for meeting options, these are the settings I would recommend. So enabling join before host, in case someone wants to join, like 15 minutes early, just because they're a little bit hesitant or nervous about their ability to join. You want to make sure that they have the ability to set things up on their own schedule. And you don't have to necessarily be on for that to happen. And they'll just go to the waiting room. And then also muting participants on entry. I think this is important because a lot of the times when you start the meetings, you're going to be kind of introducing the whole topic and most likely starting with some sort of meditation, which is what we recommend for the structure. So I think having everyone muted, one, kind of limits any background noise that could be coming through from their audio, and also kind of sets the tone for the meeting as well. I feel like it's best if participants who are not talking are muted, so that it limits background noise during the meeting. And I would also enable waiting rooms so that you can kind of create a more structured start time by allowing people to go into a waiting room, not really have any access to like any video content or audio content until you choose to let everyone in when the start time reaches the start time. And then we also are I would recommend recording the meeting automatically, just because that way you don't have to remember to record the meeting if that's something that you want. And it provides like a great thing for you to be able to give access to like everyone that was on the call as well. Okay, we're just going to hit save. And so now you have the option to give this information to the participants. I think the easiest way is to just copy this link. This is like the most important part because this is what the participants are going to use to get into the meeting. You can either choose to send it directly to their calendar or copy the invitation, which will send all of this information about like the time, the meeting ID, the invite link, and we'll put it to your clipboard. So now you can copy all of this, or just like copy this, and you can send an email out to everyone, and they'll get this information, which is including the time. It doesn't say the duration, so I think that's probably important to include in your email as well. And then it will include the link, which is what people will click to get in. And then if they have any issues clicking the link, or if they're going to be logging in using their app, they would need this meeting ID, which I can show you as well when it comes time to get on the call. All right, so I will see you all in a little bit. I just want to show how a host would begin a meeting that they had already scheduled. So you're just going to visit Zoom. I'll refresh the page just so that you can see how it would look. You'd sign into your account, and I always access through the meetings, where you can see all the meetings that have been scheduled, and here's the one that we're going to be joining, Zoom Help Session. And all you would have to do is just click Start, and then it would begin. I also wanted to take a few minutes to show you how someone who got invited to the session would attend. So basically, if you remember, we had sent out both a meeting ID and an invite link that is a URL that the person could enter through. So there are two ways that a participant can enter a meeting. The first is by literally just copying this email that was sent to them and clicking the link or putting it into their browser. And from what would happen is here, if the person does not currently have a Zoom application, it would download immediately, and then it would start automatically, and it would put them through that way. So this is one way. It would all happen pretty quickly once this URL had been inputted. And then the other option is if you already have the application downloaded, you can enter directly from this as well. So you can either hit join right here, And basically you would just put in the link, like the personal, the meeting ID, or you would put it in right there. I would edit this information to show my name, and then I would hit join. You're also able to access the meetings that you have scheduled directly from this application as well. This is the Mac version of it, by the way. So if you go here, these are all of the meetings that I have upcoming. And I would just be able to click on the one that I wanted to start, Zoom Help Session, and I would just click Start. And I'm going to click Join with Computer Audio. You can see myself. And now I have the opportunity to manipulate the people who are on the call. I'm just going to change my name to Natalie. And in the waiting room, so I'm going to admit her. Hello, Laura. So you'll just have to turn your sound on. Perfect. And I'm just going to show you briefly that you can go to the gallery view so you can see both of us side to side, or you can switch it to speaker view so it shows who's talking, and then the view of yourself as the host at the very top. A little bit about the options that you have. So as I mentioned, you have the gallery view, which I prefer because then you can see everyone at equal size. And down at the bottom, you have the mute and stop video options. So if at any point you want to mute yourself or turn the video off, if there's something going on in the background that's distracting, you can do that. And from the video is also the options to choose a virtual background and that sort of thing. If you're having any difficulties with your sound or your video coming through, it probably has to do with the setting that you have, basically like which speaker and which microphone, and as well as like which camera you're using. So that's a good tip if you're having difficulty. And there's also a way that you can look at the participants, and as the host, you can control the options to like mute or stop the video of any of the participants as well. There's also a chat feature, and you have the ability to either send messages in like real time to either everyone or specific people in the group. If you want to send a private message, like maybe someone is having like background sound coming through and you want to let them know they're going to put them on mute until that's sorted out, and then they can turn on their sound again, something like that. Or you can share resources with everyone in the group, even files. As I said in the beginning, I recommend that we record sessions, but if for some reason you hadn't selected that option and you do want to record, you can just click this button here, and that will allow for that. And close the participants view. And you can also make the screen full size by clicking here. And then if you do not want it, you can either hit exit full screen or just hit escape and go back. And then I also want to show you all how to share screen, which you click using this button. And it's going to give you this option where you can see all of the different windows that I have open, and you can choose which you want to show. I'm going to show a PowerPoint, which is, I think, what a lot of people will be doing in this scenario, but I just want to show you quickly where I got the PowerPoint, which is from this window here. It's from our Golden Civilization website. If you go to the side menu, there's a heading that says resources, and there's a bunch of hosting resources that we made available. And if you click on the online meeting PowerPoint, it will download automatically. And then you can open it up and use it to share in your session. So I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to change windows, because now I only want to show the PowerPoint. So here it is. With a PowerPoint, you want people to see just this full screen. So you want to start your slideshow. Okay, from start. And so now people will be seeing mainly the slideshow, and then they'll also see these smaller profiles of the videos, of the people's videos, the participants, and you can also move that around. So I like to view it at the top, so I don't get distracted and look away from the main area. And the PowerPoint controls are down here. So you can click these and go through. All right. And then you can stop share. Come back to the main screen. All right. And the very last thing that I wanted to do is show you breakout rooms. These are they would come in use if you have like a larger group and you wanted to provide an opportunity for people to speak in smaller groups. This can help promote conversation and make people feel more comfortable. And it's helpful if you're having difficulty getting people to speak out in a large group, especially as kind of like an icebreaker. It can help to get people in the mood of sharing when they feel like more comfortable in the smaller setting. So basically, to start a breakout room, you would click this button, and there's only one participant in this case, but we're both basically going to put Laura into another room, and we're just going to click Open Room. There is options where you can, allow participants to return to the main session. You can create like specific time periods for the breakout room, so you don't have to do it manually. And there is a countdown as well. So basically when you let people know that the breakout rooms are going to be closing, it gives them 30 seconds or a minute to like wrap up their conversations in smaller groups. Okay, so we're going to open the rooms. And so Laura is going to get a notification that she is supposed to be joining a breakout room. And as the host, you have the option to basically join these groups as well and kind of like monitor, facilitate, step in as needed. And you also have the ability to broadcast a message, so you can send a chat to all the people in the breakout rooms, which can help if you have like any questions about like what's being said, or you want to if you want to let anyone know anything or provide resources, direction, that sort of thing. Okay, so I'm going to quickly join Laura in the breakout room just to show how that would work. So I'm going to join. Hello, Laura. And now I'm going to just leave the room. Make sure you don't end the meeting for all, because that pertains to the entire meeting, not just the breakout room. So I'm going to leave the breakout room. Return to the main session, and Laura is still in the breakout room. However, I do want to make sure that I unmute, which is a setting that happens automatically when you rejoin the main session from a breakout room. So I'm just going to do that real quick. And now I'm going to go to breakout rooms, and I'm going to close all rooms. So now Laura will get a message that will say she has 27 seconds and counting to get out of the room. And here she is returning. She's back. And that is pretty much all that I have to share for you today. So thanks for joining us, and good luck with your conversations.